Birmingham I initially conceived as a recruiting tool. In my role at Intermark, I hire software developers, and I hire a lot of them. And we're pretty picky about the type of people that we look for. So we've experienced a lot of growth over the last couple of years. And starting about mid-year last year, it became harder and harder to find the quality of people that I was really wanting here locally. So we started expanding our recruitment search outside the Birmingham market into Nashville, Atlanta, Memphis, the Southeast in general. And so we would interview folks from these other markets, and they'd be very interested in the job and the position. They'd say, wow, that sounds like a really cool place to work. And then they'd ask, well, is this located in Birmingham? And I'd say, yeah, we do all of our stuff here. And I had people come out and say, I just can't see myself living in Birmingham. Normally these were people that had never even been here. So I take that kind of comment personally. I've lived here for 20 plus years and I love living here. And for somebody to say something like that, you know, it reflects poorly on me. So initially I looked at WhyBhm as an opportunity to market the city as a recruitment tool, something that I could point people to say, hey look, it is kind of cool to live here, you know, see what these people are saying about it. So around the first of the year, I sat down with my friend Wade, and he helped me kind of refine the idea, and he helped me realize that the focus shouldn't be about recruitment or marketing or proselytizing. It's about ourselves. For a long time, we've had this perception, both externally and internally, I think, that we are backwards, that we're dirty, both mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, that we've got, that we're stupid, that we're racist. I'm aware that we have issues here in the city, but we get a bad rap. And because this perception has been repeated to us over and over again, we've internalized it. And by internalizing it, it's just like telling a teenage girl that she's fat over and over again. She starts believing it, even if she's 5'10" and 120 pounds. So what the project transformed into was something where I could go and talk to people about why they live here and why they love living here. And it became more important for me to get them to tell me that story, because with any long-term relationship, if you don't reinforce that love, if you don't verbalize those emotions and those feelings, you start taking them for granted and you start to forget them. So my goal here is it's not for anything external, and it's not even really something for me, or even the city. It's for the individuals that I talk to. It's for the people that I've been able to get their stories. It's for them to be able to tell those stories. The potential I see in this city is amazing. The potential that I had seen just recently in the past few years be achieved. Places like Railroad Park, places like McWayne, the revitalization and rebuilding of Vulcan, the stuff going on Morris Avenue and 2nd Avenue, things like Secret Stages, Crawfish Bowl just keeps getting bigger. Those things, those events, those happenings, those accomplishments, I believe are a reflection of individuals, small groups of people realizing, hey, we do have potential here and we can achieve things here. I remember when I was working downtown here in the mid-90s, I would walk out of my office at 6 o'clock in the evening, and you could walk down 20th Street and not be afraid to be hit by a car. I mean, there was nobody downtown. nowadays there are places to eat, there are things to do, there are things to see, and I credit those individuals, those people that see the potential and reach for it. So yeah, I think Birmingham, I'm very positive on the future of Birmingham.
What do you think is the biggest challenge for the city right now?
Self-image, defeatist attitudes. I'm naturally an optimistic person, and I see people that don't have that optimism, and it's so much harder to achieve things. I think as a city, as a community, we've had this feeling of why try? Why even try? Because we know it's going to fail. And we've had that for decades. As I said, I think I've seen some of these pockets of individuals and people and groups that have started to reclaim that positivity. We need to make it a mass movement. One of my inspirations personally, but personally and for WhyBhm, is the "You're Beautiful" signs. I think that's something that's so simple, but so powerful and positive, and those are the kinds of things that we need.
What would you view as success of WhyBhm?
It's hard to say because I don't have any big long-term goals with it. My success criteria at this point is basically just meeting more people and getting more stories. My plan is by the end of this month to have the site launched with the first round of stories, and then to hopefully get into kind of a routine of being able to interview 2 or 3 people a month and get their stories up online as well. I'm taking this project in very small scope, very small stages. One, because I don't want to put any expectations around it, and 2, because I'm happy with what it is so far, and I'm looking forward to see how it grows. My other personal project is agile self-development, and it's something that I picked up at South by Southwest this year in Austin. And in a nutshell, it's taking agile software development principles and applying them to personal goal setting and personal goal achievement. That sounds like a mouthful, it kind of is. And it's a little hard to define because it's not really about a process or it's not really about a process as much as it is about a set of tools. What agile software development is agile focuses on incremental successes, small delivery of a bigger project. The interesting thing about software, as opposed to say construction, building construction, is that if you're building a 30-story building, you get no value out of only building the first floor. You have to build the entire building before you start seeing value. Software is the opposite. If you're building a word processor, you can see value very early on just by having a text editor. Not necessarily with all the bells and whistles and being able to print and fonts and layout and all that stuff. As long as you can put text in there and save it, you've got value. The other interesting thing about software is that there is absolutely no value to software until you get it to the user. So what Agile does is it focuses on creating those small pieces of value and getting them into the hands of the user as soon as possible. So the women, Marcy and Dinah, that presented at South by on this concept of agile self-development have taken some of the tactics that we use in software development and applied them to personal growth. The 2 things that I'm focusing on here with ASD Birmingham is taking these big, elusive, ill-defined, vague goals and breaking them down into smaller, achievable goals. So, for instance, one of my big, almost overwhelming goals is I have a 66 Buick Skylark convertible that's basically rotting in my carport. And it's been there for years, and I walk by it every morning. But it's overwhelming because I know there's so much that I have to do to it or get done to it before I can drive it again. So I take that big, overwhelming goal and break it into smaller, achievable goals. So the first goal is to just take the cover off of it and wash it, clean it up. Then I can look at, do I need to rebuild the carburetor? Do I need to redo the transmission? Do I need to redo the brakes? But take those small goals and build upon those successes. So the other thing that we do in the group, and this is a group activity, is we do daily meetings every morning here at Urban Standard at 7:30 in the morning. And what we do each morning is there are 3 questions that we ask and answer of each of us. It's, what did you do yesterday to achieve your goals or move forward towards your goals? What do you plan to do today? And what are your obstacles? The reason that we do these is A, it refocuses us each day on what we can commit to getting done. And B, it creates this positive reinforcement, positive peer pressure. Because if I come in and say, Andre, I'm going to wash the car today. If I don't do that, then I know that tomorrow morning I've got to come in here and sit down over my cup of coffee and say, I didn't wash the car yesterday. Not that it matters to you one way or the other, but it does matter to me because, again, I'm having to verbalize that and admit to it. So with ASD, we've been doing this now for about 6 weeks, and it's been really amazing to see, not only for myself but for the group, to see what people have been able to accomplish and achieve just in this short period of time. And it gives us all the ability to focus and refocus every day and get those small wins. And that's what's really important. We're all going to fail at some point. Something's going to fail, either through our own inability or through circumstance. What we have to try to do is minimize the failures, is keep those failures small enough to where we can overcome them. Big failures are hard to overcome. Small ones, you can get through them. Small successes, though, build upon themselves. So that's the goal of the project.
What do you think's the next step for Birmingham?
Well, if I were approaching that with a mind towards agile, I would say let's not look at something like city stages and trying to reinvent that. Let's not look at building a dome downtown. Those are huge, overwhelming goals. Let's take 3rd Avenue or 4th Avenue and start the same kind of revitalization process that we've done on Morris and 2nd. Do those small things. Can we get a new restaurant downtown? Can we get a new loft downtown? Can we get a new office building revitalized or redone? Things that are happening, say at Stork Land. Those kind of small, and it's not small to the people involved, but those things that are small to the community as a whole. If we can succeed with those small things, we can keep growing. And eventually we'll get to, the dome downtown. But the other thing about Agile is that because we're focusing on these small goals and these small successes, if we need to move that big goal, if we decide we need the dome, but we could do a big arena like Phillips downtown, and that's more appropriate, more relevant, then we've not put all of our hopes and dreams into this huge thing. Rather, we're able to build on these small successes to where it becomes a natural progression to say, the arena makes more sense. So, my approach for Birmingham would be let's start small. We've got a lot of people that are interested in doing what they can. Let's get them focused on these smaller projects, see these smaller wins, the Avondale Community Gardens, the things that Chip Brantley's doing over in Woodlawn. Um, let's see where these things lead to. Build upon those successes.